Hi, friends. If you are a business owner and you have a team and you need to help the team efficiencies, please stick around because my today's guest is a management consultant, CEO of Naburva Business Solutions Inc. from Canada. Please help me welcome Kashan Awais. Welcome, Kashan.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to become as a management consultant?
Right, so it was back in 2019, somewhere towards the end of the year. I was at that time working in corporate sector, like with a big global company, and I was reading a report by Statistics Canada about small businesses here in Canada. And what was really shocking for me was the mortality rate and how many small businesses, failed right after, or like within the few years after their incorporation or their birth. And I was really surprised to see that more than half of these small businesses totally wiped out. They were kind of eradicated within the first 10 years of their life. So that led me to think, why not do something that would really help these small businesses and kind of help them plan effectively and strategize effectively, manage their like business operations effectively. So that's when that led me to create Naburva Solutions.
What are the top three mistakes to avoid?
Well, as a business or as a team member or a leader, I mean, there are plenty of mistakes which are really obvious, which are, I mean, this I would probably focus more on something that is kind of overlooked oftentimes. The first thing that I see as a weakness is that like we oftentimes we build very hard, very like rigid molds, which we use to assess people, situations, even matters as simple as likes and dislikes. We try to assess everything and we try to force them fit into a certain mold. Well, this is not really the case all the time. There are many questions that we come across in life. The answer to which is it depends, right? So a question as simple as if someone asks me, "What color do you like?" Well, it depends. What color do I like? For what? If it's a strawberry cake, definitely pink. If it's Mercedes S550, definitely a black, and not the other way around, right? So we have to see things in the proper context in order to see the value behind them. We cannot necessarily force everything into a box all the time. The second thing that this weakness leads to is the inability to see beyond the obvious, right? So if we try to force everything according to a model that we've kind of pre-built in our minds, we would only be able to see whatever is really obvious. And the third thing, what I would mention as a weakness is most of the time, business leaders, team leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, we are obsessed with perfectionism, right? And this is not really very helpful when you're trying to run a business as a leader. We can be perfectionist all we want when we're talking about our individual work, but as a leader, I would strongly suggest that if you're a leader and you are if you're a perfectionist, well, please throw perfectionism out of the window as soon as you can, because with that you will have a really hard time in leading your team. So yeah, these are, I guess, the top three weaknesses, which are kind of not so obvious.
What are your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
The fail, I wouldn't really failure story, but let me rewind the picture a little bit by a year or two, like right when we started Naburva. As I mentioned, it was late in 2019. And guess what happened? As soon as we established pandemic, right? So since the primary clientele of Naburva was small and medium businesses, and this is the sector that was hit the most by a pandemic. Well, of course, they couldn't afford the luxury of consulting services, right? So if I was to stick to this particular line, which was like really aligned with Naburva's mission and vision, I would really end up kind of winding up my own business, right? So I tried to see what were the other ways in which Naburva could add value to individuals, to corporations, like small companies and whatnot. So that led us to see that there were a ton of other things that we could do. So I started working on development of training programs and certification programs. And when this ability to pivot and redirect ourselves in the direction in which we were able to add value, and our certifications are kind of authority in the area, right? For example, our human resource certifications, they are recognized by CPHR Alberta, CPHR Nova Scotia, SHRM in the US. I'm also in conversation with CPHR BC. So, like all the you that others here in Canada and worldwide, globally, they're like able to draw. They're able to benefit from these training programs. That this would not have happened if it not for our ability to pivot and adapt according to the situation.
What are your top three success secrets that others can follow?
Well, the first thing, as I mentioned here in the story that I showed you, the first one probably would be the adaptability. And it closely relates to the weakness, the first weakness I told you about, like the inability to see the obvious and inability to, like trying to fit everything into a certain box. Adaptability gives you a lot of wiggle room when the situation is uncertain. It gives you the ability to change course when needed. It gives you the ability to stay agile. So adaptability would probably be the first thing. Then, as a leader, sometimes this quality is also overlooked, but humility is really important, right? So the myth of the powerful leader and humility, these are antonyms for some reason. This is not the case. Humility is a great quality in the arsenal of a leader. So, as a leader, please try to be humble. And lastly, I would say you should have the ability to ask for help when you need it, right? So, probably like many of these small businesses that I shared the statistics with you about, many of these probably didn't ask for help when they needed it, right? They probably needed someone to help them out, help them plan effectively, how to get out of that imbroglio in which they were in at the point that they kind of had no choice except to just wind up, right? So if you're an individual, if you're a business, whatever type of entity you are, if you are in a crisis situation, please do ask for help. Please do reach out to people in the support group which you have around yourself, family, your friends, your if you're a business, your network, and all that. So yeah, so you should be able to adapt. You should be humble as a leader, and you should be able to ask for help when you need it.
Thank you. We are entering into a speed round. That means quick questions and short answers. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely.
What is the most impactful business book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
Right. So the most impactful, I would say, I mean, there are ton of books which are geared towards personal development and business knowledge, but the one that I really like is the title is The Art of the Long View. It's by Peter Schwartz. See it? So this is about scenario planning, and it's unlike the risk analysis in which we change the values when we're calculating the financial values, or it's about trying to build plausible scenarios and adapting or build an action plan according to a particular scenario. So that is, it was written like 3 decades ago, but still relevant today.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, person as well as business, I would like to be remembered for the fact that I was able to create value and make an impact in the lives of those whom I interacted with in any way.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Okay, well, a traditional answer to this will be like head on, right? But I've mentioned quite a few times about adaptability. So every challenge cannot be addressed the same way. Some would require a what do you call it, brute force strategy. You would kind of really hit them head on. Some would require you to deflect a little bit. Some would require you to kind of adapt and kind of act accordingly. So it depends on the kind of challenge. The key is that you should have the ability to assess the situation correctly and strategize accordingly, right? So that's how you deal with the challenge.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
As we grow up as a business, I would very much like to, like, besides expanding the scope or the reach of the services or the value that we are creating for our clients, I would also like to increase the scope of the value or the areas in which we can provide value to our clients.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Well, luckily, this is not a problem for me at this stage because I don't have any business partners. So, yeah, once I have like, done all my calculations and assessed the feasibility of an idea, I just go forward with it, and I fortunately, don't have to worry about convincing business partners about it because I don't have any.
What are you grateful for today?
Really, everything, really everything that I have done, really everything that I have, I can't even count. To tell you the truth, I can't even count. Constant repetition of I can't count what I have, and I can't be grateful for everything or anything that I have in my life.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
Uh, there are a lot of people from whom I have learned a lot of things, and which include my communication skills, my approach towards life in general, my leadership skills. So there are a lot of people, and they've taught me a lot of, like, probably all the aspects of personal development.
Why is being impactful important to you?
Well, being impactful is that this is a quality that I see as the ultimate objective behind everything I do as an individual or as a business. So if I am not being impactful uh, towards or my clients whom I'm working for, I'm not doing a great job. If I'm not impactful in the life of my children, I am not doing a great job as a father. So this is really something that is the ultimate objective behind everything that I try to do. So that's what gives me the purpose, and that is the importance of being impactful in my eyes.
How do you start your day?
Oh, this is again something that to the quality of being impactful. So everything that like I start doing at the start of the day, that is eventually aimed at something in which I would be able to create and add some value, right? So yeah.
Who is your ideal client?
Yeah, as ideal client, I would very much like to work with businesses of any size, but they have to be willing to be a partner in the success, in their own success. Okay, so sometimes we see this practice as businesses reach out to consultants, and the idea is just to pass the buck, just play the blame game, just to find someone whom they could kind of put all the blame on of the execution is not done right. So in every meeting which I have with any of my clients, it's very important that I see the good fit and they see the good fit. Like it's a bilateral relationship. The ideal client, regardless of the industry, regardless of the size, they have to be understanding in terms of the fact that they are a partner and we are a partner in their success, and we have to work like we have to join hands in order to create value and make the client successful in which they in the area that they want my help in.
What is the advice you would give to your younger self?
Probably a lot of things, like talking about my younger self, that would take me, I don't know, like 2 decades, 3 decades back. So there, as I mentioned before, there are tons of areas that I have learned from my mentors and my ideals, and so probably this will be a list. So just to keep it short, there's tons. There are like, almost every area of the personal and professional development. I would have one advice or another to give to younger self.
How can we support you?
Well, if any the clients or any entrepreneurs who need help or they need answers to certain questions regarding their planning and their business strategy or anything, they can reach out to us at our website. They can view who we are, value that we provide. They can reach out to us at our website, and there's a contact form. Contact information is there on the website, and they are welcome to share their the issue that they are facing, and I will be very happy to answer to them and see where we can be of any help.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
Oh, it was great. I mean, thank you very much for having us and taking time to have this brief chat with me about all the questions that we covered today. And yeah, it was really great. Thanks again.
What would you say as a final word?
Well, as a final word, I mean, I would advise all the entrepreneurs, leaders, like business community in general, that whatever you're doing, just try to assess the situation before you reach before you identify a solution. If you need help, like I said before, when I was talking about the weaknesses, don't be afraid of asking for help when you need it. Whether it's from your manager, from your director, CEO, whatever, or if it's external, a consultant or somebody who is expert in the area. But don't just jump into the situation thinking that you can tackle it just by trial and error. Probably you may succeed, okay, but the probability of failure is also there, right? And even the success that would come at a cost of like having your time wasted, having your efforts, energy, and money wasted into that experimentation process. So take action, but ask for help too.
Kashan, thank you so much for your time and sharing the wisdom with us. On the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club and our entire team, we really appreciate you. I hope our path cross again with another amazing guest. Until then, you have a wonderful time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.